Skeleta, Ghost's 6th album release, in about 5.5 minutes. Let's go! Ghost's 6th album, Skeleta, was released on the 25th of April by Loma Vista Recordings. It is 10 songs long and it runs for just under 47 minutes. Now, Skeleta is the follow-up to 2022's Impera, and the overall sound of this album, in fact, continues on from Impera's sound, while also sprinkling elements from their previous albums throughout this one, especially Prequel. Now, this whole album has a 80s hard rock feel to it, and is in fact very guitar driven. The overall guitar work on this album is fantastic, with the guitar solos on Lacrima, Marks of the Evil Ones, and Umbra, for me, standing out the most. The overall tone from this album gives me vibes of the prequel album. And as for the rest of the band, they do a fantastic job of keeping everything together. I feel like the bass stands out most on Satanized. As for the drums, there was nothing really that sort of stood out. Everything is pretty standard in terms of like nothing crazy happening. All the parts actually fit perfectly together within the songs. Umbra, however, did have a really cool use of a cowbell that I thought was brilliant as a nice little change. The vocals, as always, Tobias does a good job with some good use of backing vocals as well on this album. One thing I did find is the first listen of the album, I realised why Lacrima and Satanized were the main singles from the album, as they really do stand out from the rest of the songs on your first listen. You kind of realise why they feel so big and the other songs don't quite feel as big when you first listen to it. However, you do find the more you listen to it, the more you will like it, the more the other songs really do stand out. And this album is definitely a grower album. You have to listen to it more and more and more to really sort of understand and appreciate these songs, because I find that if I listen to it just once, I genuinely don't think I would like it as much as I've liked the other albums on the first listen. It is definitely a grower, and compared to the other Ghost albums, for me, especially like Meliora and Prequel, which were instant hits for me, I definitely think you've got to listen to it more and more and more, which will definitely make it better. Coming off a big feel, like I say, from the first 3 songs, 2 of which were the main singles. Guiding Light is a bit of a change in pace, and many people, from what I've read and they've said the album goes downhill after Satanized. However, I don't agree with that. I don't think the album goes downhill. For me, the best songs on this album, other than singles, were Cenotaph, Marks of the Evil Ones, and Umbra. Now, I'm not a general fan of the slower songs from Ghost, but their final song on this album, I do believe I'm pronouncing this correctly, which is Excelsis, felt a little bit long on the first listen. I felt it could have been just a little bit shorter, but after a few listens of this, I still feel it could be a little bit shorter, but it is in fact a nice album closer. And again, it's one of these things where you should definitely give this album time, let it grow, let these songs settle in the overall Ghost discography, and you'll find they are in fact brilliant. Now, after having given plenty of listens to this album, and in fact doing this review, it's given me an idea of what I think of this album overall, and that is, this album is great. I generally think the overall work that Tobias Forge puts in is fantastic. I have a feeling it's going to sound amazing live, which from what I've seen of Ghost before, they always do a fantastic job of playing live. So I think these songs are going to fit really well in a live environment. And I think it's only going to grow from here. They're going to get new fans in. People will understand what Ghost is. Now, obviously, it's not quite as heavy as Meliora or like even like their first album, and it does follow on from sort of Imperial and prequel sound. But if you're into that and you like Ghost in general, I genuinely think you will like this album. I hope you guys have enjoyed this very short review, and thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and help me reach a goal of 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.